Hello, I'm Nicole Livas, the new Chief Communications and Community Engagement Officer for Virginia Beach City Public Schools, and I'm joined by Mr. Matthew Delaney, Chief Schools Officer. And we are here today to talk to you about a very important topic, the calendar. Thank you for joining us, Mr. Delaney. First of all, let's talk about what factors are considered. This is a very detailed process.
Yeah, thank you, Nicole. It is very detailed, and oftentimes our community is not aware of all the details that it takes. For our school calendar, we're driven by school board policy. We have school board policy on school calendar development, and essentially what that tasks us with doing is working in cooperation with the community to bring a recommendation to the school board to approve the school calendar. Probably the policy that most folks would be interested in is the policy around our school hours. We're required to have a minimum of 180 school days, 5.5-hour school day in and of itself, and included in that is a minimum of 990 instructional minutes. So we take that information and work backwards to develop a calendar to meet those policy needs. There's other parameters that we have to have in mind, such as we take into account how many adjusted dismissal days, what are the lengths of our holidays. We actually have a school board policy on holidays as well. So, for example, in Virginia Beach, and this is not true in all localities, the election day is a school holiday in Virginia Beach. So we are closed on election day, and that has an impact on the level of what we do in terms of our staff days or our school days.
Gotcha. And you mentioned holidays. I mean, we started school before Labor Day this year, and we're not going to end any earlier. So a lot of parents want to know, and students and teachers, why is that?
Yeah, it's a great question, and we've tried to explain that often because it goes back to those parameters. When you look at, really, we started 4 days earlier than we typically do for students to return. As a result of that, we were able to use 4 of those days throughout the year for staff days. We were also, this year, which we have not been able to do in previous years, we were able to give the day off prior to Thanksgiving. Normally, that's an adjusted dismissal day, and we found that that was very beneficial for our students and staff and for our parents as well to get that full day to travel at Thanksgiving.
Or cook.
Or cook, yeah, they can do that as well. I need to learn how to do that. But we had a staff day in October. We had staff days, additional staff days in November to end the 9 weeks period. We had additional staff day in January to give 2 days to prepare for the second semester. And then probably what our teachers will really appreciate is that additional staff day in March, which gives that buffer zone from February to spring break, which can be a long haul for our students during that period. So. Yeah. As a result of embedding those staff days, to answer your question, that's what put us to where we end at the same time that we typically do.
Okay, but we want input from folks, so not just staff and teachers, but also parents, and that's why we have this survey. So tell us about that.
Yeah, so when we look at the survey, I think there's one thing I want to make sure we're really clear about. It is not an election. They're not voting for the most popular calendar, and then we take that vote and then implement it. It is a data point. So when you look at the survey in and of itself, it has a variety of questions that are asked in terms of what are your preferences on holidays, what are your preferences on certain start days. We have staff-specific questions. For example, we wanted to get a good indication of how they felt about those days in October and the ones they got in November and so forth. Because if the staff said they weren't really useful, then we take that into consideration. If they say they were hugely beneficial, that is something we want to take into account as well. So as parents take the survey, understanding that they're going to see 4 separate options for calendars, 2 pre-Labor Day, 2 post-Labor Day. The school board kind of directed us to say they want to see a pre-Labor Day and a post-Labor Day option, so they'll get an opportunity to see those 4. I think it's really important when they look at the survey, there'll be a opportunity for them to see an outline of all 4 on one page, and that they can clearly look at those to compare, see the start date, end dates, see when the holidays are, all of those things that may come into question before they take a look at the calendars in depth. But I think the key to the feedback we're receiving from them is not only what maybe option they prefer, but also the other factors that they'd want us to consider in developing a calendar, because sometimes in those answers, they don't always show up in the calendars that we have there for their preferences. So we can take that information and make adjustments as we look to provide this to the board for a recommendation.
Okay, but we do value the input, and we need it.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
All right, so we encourage you, don't forget, take the survey, make sure you complete it, give us your input, and we appreciate you.